Hello, friends. Meet Olive first off because she keeps wanting to make an appearance. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Allison. I am 24 years old and I am living in Dallas currently. And I have been given the most amazing opportunity to go on the world race. And if you don't know what that is, it is an 11-month long mission trip in which I get to go to, or a lot of people get to go to, 11 different countries and just share the gospel and who Jesus is and how he loves us and what he's done for us. And I had this very elaborate blog post I was typing up earlier, and it was good and it was entertaining, and I would consider myself to be a pretty decent writer. Not the greatest at verbal communication, so why I chose to video, don't really know. Stepping out of my comfort zone maybe, but I was writing this blog post about fundraising and all the good opportunities that I have coming up to get people involved in my journey to the race and give you ideas on how you can contribute. And I was typing and I was waiting for a friend. We were going to a late night, or not late night, but an adult sermon at Watermark called The Porch. It's like a young adult sermon and it's good. I've been going for about a year. I love it. And right before my friend got there, whenever I was typing up my blog, there was these two girls that sat next to me. And I kind of felt a little nudge that said, you should talk to them. So naturally I didn't talk to them. Because who does what they're told ever? And I sat there, and I was just kind of like, whatever, I'm just going to keep typing. It was nice. I made a couple comments. And then my friend gets there, and she has been on the world race before. We met via another friend who was also good on the world race, and just like these crazy connections. And she sits down, and she brought up the blogging, and she's like, oh, are you doing this for the world race? And the girls that I was sitting next to kind of like flipped their heads around. They're like, oh my gosh, we have two friends at training camp. And if you don't know what training camp is, it's essentially a 2-week long camp that gets you prepared for your launch date, and kind of gets you mentally prepared for what you're going to be dealing with as far as hiking with your backpack on and meeting your teammates and worshiping and just kind of seeing where you're at, I guess. Ask me in a couple months once I've gone. What are you doing? She's still, and then I start videoing and she just starts to go crazy. Olive, my good old dog. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and these girls like bring up that they have friends at training camp, and I'm just like in awe. And if you haven't read about me, my relationship with God is not new. However, the intensity of which my relationship with him is at right now is extremely new, and it's beautiful and it's very special, and I'm very thankful for it. And so I have these moments where I am just still so awestruck and just left speechless whenever I see him moving through other people and working through other people. And this one of the girls, I'll get back to the story, I'm awful at storytelling, but she starts talking about how she grew up in an orphanage in South Africa and how she had met so many world racers that she felt like she had already gone on one, and she felt called to missions in Thailand and she was going to be going soon. And it just sparked this conversation that never would have happened if my friend Aubrey hadn't sat down and just casually mentioned that that's what I was blogging about. And it was a good reminder that you, one, should probably do what you're told, especially if God's telling you to do it. And two, how easy it is just to kind of open up that conversation, which I'm always insecure about. I'm always scared I'm not going to ask the right questions, or I don't make people feel comfortable enough, or that I'm not approachable. And to watch this interaction was just a beautiful reminder of what God is and how he flows through us. But anyway, I closed my laptop and I just listened very intently. I didn't have a lot to contribute, but I went through the sermon, didn't really take much away from it, but God kept telling me, like, stop performing. And I'm not a big, like, hands up worshiping gal. Every once in a while I'll feel it, and I thought I was feeling it, and so I put my hand up, one hand up, kind of had them out like this, and God was just like, stop performing. Just literally just stop. And this isn't the first time he's told me that. A couple months ago, I'll backtrack for a second, try not to be long-winded, but whenever I was waiting for my World Race interview to start, which is a phone interview, I was sitting in my car. It was super hot. I had turned off the air conditioning. I was very nervous. I had friends call and, speak life over me and just text me these amazing things. And I was very, very on a Jesus high. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm about to interview for the World Race. I didn't even know what this was a year ago. I hope this is the plan. All this other crazy stuff. And I start cracking jokes in my head to God. And, God has a great sense of humor. He's funny. In my head, he's hilarious. And he just calmed me and said, you don't have to perform for me. And in those moments, I still had this blanket of fear and insecurity and no self-worth that I felt like even in my head, in the spots where, even God can see everything, I still had to cover it up with jokes that probably weren't even funny. And he was telling me that again, and I felt like I had stopped performing since he told me that. I even shared that with my community group. I told so many people about it. I was like, yeah, stop performing, guys, it's chill. But here I was with a hand half up, a worship where I felt disconnected from it, but still compelled to feel like I needed to be connected to it, I guess. And he told me to stop. And I immediately realized that the blog post I had created to talk about the fundraising experiences and these great opportunities to help me out, that it was all just satire. It was all just for entertainment, and it wasn't worship, and it wasn't giving him glory, and it wasn't using the gifts he's given me for good. And a good friend of mine, Josh, he told me a few months back when I kind of had, or not even a few months, a few weeks ago, I had a very bratty moment, and he told me, the sooner you realize this isn't about you, the better it's going to be and the easier it's going to be. And it clicked initially on a surface level, or a moderate, medium-sized level, but in that moment it hit me about how I was seeking attention and validation through this blog post about helping me get to the world race and helping me get to go step in and share the gospel to people halfway around the world. And it's just so insane how he drops these little gems into your brain. And I don't know, I just had never experienced that, or never been so self-aware of my own actions of performing and making myself seem like I was something that I was not. And I left and just kind of got in my car and thought about the gravity of what that meant to stop performing. And even before this video, I wanted to curl my hair again. I wanted to put on makeup. I wanted to make it look like I have not been working since 6:30 this morning. And I didn't just go to church and sit there for hours. Like, my face is kind of greasy. My dog is being kind of annoying, if I'm being real honest. And I've made this video so many times, I don't even know what I've said. But I just felt compelled to share this with everybody, and I don't know if anybody else ever feels that way, that they have to perform, whether it's for a person, for people you don't know, but you don't. And it's taken me 24 years to be told that. I've probably multiple times by so many people in so many different ways, but I'm thick-headed, and I don't like to listen to people, and I don't like to do what I'm told until I think that it's my own original idea. Spoiler alert, it never will be. But yeah, I guess a preemptive apology, or not preemptive. It's amazing what the grace of God can do. And for those of you who have known me for a while, you know that this is kind of insane. I never thought in a million years that I would be doing this, or being obedient and reliant on God to get me there to do his work. And I'm so thankful for it, so obnoxiously thankful. And backtracking to that conversation with those women who knew friends that are at training camp right now, at the end of the conversation, one of them asked me for my contact info, and she was just like, do you have a link? Do you have a fundraiser that you're doing? I want to support you in whatever way I can, because I did that. I wanted to make sure I did that for the other people that I know. And it took literally all I had not to just cry. I had goosebumps, and it was just God saying, like, I've got you. Like, stop with the insecurity. Stop performing. Just do what I asked, and I will get you there. And in the car ride, of course, car ride home from this, I cried and was just so amazed by everything that has been happening in my life, and how thankful I am for the community and for the opportunities, and how God is just revealing himself in his heart and my heart to me. I don't know. I'm just babbling at this point. But I want to thank you for watching this, and for supporting me if you've read my blog posts so far, or if you have donated, bought any of the candles. And this is going to sound really like a gimmicky YouTube link, but check out, or YouTube video link, whatever. Words are so difficult right now. It's like 10:30. I need to be asleep. But the link for my fundraiser and for my World Race blog is going to be like right below this. So go check it out. And if you feel compelled to give, please do. Prayers. I can't talk, y'all. Again, this is probably just me performing. Vomit, but prayers are very much welcomed for my team, for me, for the friends in my life that have to deal with me talking about this incessantly, freaking out, anything, but pray for the people that we will be coming into contact with, and that they are receptive, and that we can just really share Jesus' light. Wow, 11 minutes is the longest video I've made, and this is probably the last one I'm going to make, but I'm going to end on this. If you haven't checked out Elevation podcasts, go check them out. There was a really good one today that I watched or listened to called Frozen Oil and Chosen Vessels, or something of that sort. But in it, Stephen Furtick, the pastor, is talking about a passage in the Bible that I don't know well, and I can't recall very well. But essentially, a woman was asked to give everything she had, and all she had was oil. Her husband had died, and they needed something, and God said to give the oil that she had. And it was just a little bit of olive oil, and they went and found empty vessels, and this little bit of olive oil was poured out into these other empty vessels, and I have been so insecure with what oil I have been given, and where I'm at in my walk with Christ, and in relation to this. But it's not about that. My little oil that I have to offer and share into the empty vessels is more than they have. A little bit is better than nothing, right? And there's no telling what oil they have that they could pour into me in return, or anything. But yeah, go listen to the podcast. It's great. I'm done talking. I am not making sense, but thank you. I love all of you. I am praying very intently for anybody who watches this, and for anybody that comes in contact with me or my teammates, or any of the like. But hope you have a great week, month, whatever you need. Love you. Till next time.